on my way to run my 10th marathon, and so I decided to make a video telling you 10 ways that running 10 marathons impacted my spirituality. Let's go. Hi, I'm Jim. I'm a real-life pastor. I'm an amateur runner, and I'm actually driving across Michigan to Grand Haven to run my 10th marathon, the Armed Services Marathon. Hold on, I gotta merge. If you're watching this video, it means I finished the race, because that's when I hit upload.
Jim Keith from Kalamazoo. Welcome back, Jim.
How did I do? We'll find out at the end of the video, because then I'll have a clip explaining what I did. My goal is to run the entire marathon at an even 9-minute mile pace. I don't know if I can do that. I should be able to do that. It's a test because I'm pacing a marathon in the fall at the 9-minute pace group. So this is the how much work do I need to do between now and October. But okay, let's get into the 10 ways that running 10 marathons impacted my spirituality. Number 10 is going to be at the finish line of the marathon, by the way, so stick around for that one. My first marathon was the Charlevoix marathon. I ran it in the summer of 2021, and I was confronted with this question, which I think is true for running marathons and true for life and spirituality. What fuels you? I thought I had a plan. I thought I knew what was going to fuel me during the marathon, but I was not prepared. I was very underfueled. I didn't know how underfueled until a couple marathons later, but I was probably taking half the fuel during the race that I should have. And I really didn't have any knowledge of pre-fuel race. And really, when you're running a marathon or living life as a person in this world, what fuels you is an essential question you have to ask. If you're a person of faith or any sort of moral conviction, what fuels that faith and that spirituality and that conviction? What are the things you're taking in? That's going to impact what you put out. Who are the people you're surrounding yourself in? That becomes fuel as well. So yeah, marathon number 1, what fuels you? I have continued to ask that question every marathon since. Well, this is fun. The way I'm going says road closed, but my map tells me to go that way, so I'm a little confused. I guess I'll follow the detour. Let me show you. I'm supposed to go that way? Nah, not gonna happen. Let's try this. So marathon number 1, spirituality thing number 1, what fuels you? Definitely worth paying attention to in running and in life. This is why I think it's important what kind of community of faith you're a part of. I mean, if you're a part of a church that you're there just because you like the community, but the morals and theology are antithetical to what you actually believe in the world, what is that cultivating in you? If all the images are of a white Jesus, but you believe in this incredibly diverse image of God, how is that forming you? So yeah, what fuels you goes well beyond just what are you eating and are you reading the Bible? It's what sort of diet do you even have available to take in? There we go. Marathon number 2 was the Martian invasion of races in Dearborn, Michigan in the spring of 2022. My wife and I had just had our second kid. I ran it with my brother-in-law who was about to have his kid about a month later. This was a marathon that taught me you don't have to run alone. Now, often in marathons you run with people because that's incredible to be part of this great cloud of runners. See what I did there? That's almost quoting the Bible, but not quite. But this was the first time I ran with someone, like every step of the way with someone I know. We did some training together, and that was such a different experience. I haven't done it since. I need any more marathon friends, but it was so incredible to have someone with you from beginning to end, through the hard parts, through the good parts, to encourage each other. And I think you can figure out the spirituality lesson from this one. We are all connected, these invisible lines of connection, some of them very, very visible. We are not called to live this life in isolation. Even if you're by yourself, you don't have to be alone, thanks to this whole fancy thing called the internet. But when it comes to just those challenges in life, when it comes to doing something difficult or something that you know is worth doing, don't do it by yourself. Don't do the most important things alone. Share them with somebody, both for the celebration at the end and the struggle along the way, and anything and everything else that might come up. There you go. Marathon number 2. Thing number 2. The third marathon was the Holland Haven Marathon. I ran this in September of 2022. Originally, I was going to run this with my brother-in-law, but he had some mishaps in his training, so it was just me. And I decided to make this the marathon where I aimed to break 4 hours. My first 2 marathons had been 4 and change and 4 and more change. And this time I was like, I think I can pull it off. I think I can do this really hard thing. And that's the tip. That's the lesson I learned from this marathon about running marathons and about life and about spirituality. I can do hard things. You can do hard things. Just because something's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible. Just because it offers challenges doesn't mean you can't find a way to make it through them. I mean, what's the spirituality here? Spirituality is not just about what feels good. It's about what takes us further, what takes us to something deeper that we need as people who exist in this universe. So the marathon was from Grand Haven, Michigan, all the way down along the water to Holland, Michigan. It was incredible. I used to live in Holland, Michigan when I was in seminary, so it was a lot of fun to run back that way. And this was going to be the time I really took on that 9-minute pace and took it seriously. And I did it. I was able to pull it off. I came well under. I think I was 3:50 or something. I don't know. This was my time. And that has been a breakthrough moment for every marathon since, except for one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I've always felt like the 4-hour barrier was no longer a barrier. It's like, oh, I can get on the other side of 4 hours now. Once I did it once, suddenly it unlocked something within me. And I think there's something spiritual about that. How do we do that hard thing the first time, which is going to be the hardest time? Because you've never done it before. But once you can have that way of organizing for justice in your community and building the momentum to impact the world around you, you realize, oh, I can keep doing this and keep doing this. And those relationships and organizing efforts and the work you're doing for justice to deepen your own faith and spirituality in your life and in the world, it just exponentially keeps on going. So you got to do it the first time, though, in order to do it the second time. And for me, that was marathon number 3. First time I broke 4 hours. I can do hard things. And so can you. Marathon number 4 was which one was it? Bayshore Marathon in Traverse City. Incredible marathon. You should definitely run this one if you are anywhere near Michigan, or you should just come to Michigan to run this Michigan. It's in end of May every year. This one taught me, both in running marathons and in life and in spirituality, enjoy the view. This marathon went up a whole peninsula along Lake Michigan, Leelanau, right here. Here's a picture. And then you go back down. So it's an out and back, but the view is probably the best you'll ever get for an out and back. Everything about this marathon was great. This turned into just a plug for the Bayshore Marathon. You're welcome, Bayshore. But it taught me to enjoy the view. We can get so caught up on where we're going that we miss out on where we are. Just let that one sink in. We can get so caught up on the finish line, the destination, getting to heaven, that we miss out on everything happening right here on this incredible life we get on Earth, or at mile 20, whichever you're experiencing right now. The point is, don't just focus on the end, but be present where you are. Enjoy the view, because there is something to notice every step of the way. It's not always going to feel great. That's true for running and for life. And sometimes you're going to be surprised by what's around the next corner. And if you're just so focused on your feet and your pain and what you're feeling right now, you might miss out on it. And that thing you see and encounter can impact you in a way and compel you forward in the way that we need. So there you go. Thing number 4, marathon number 4, enjoy the view. Marathon number 5, and thing number 5, who are you following? So my 5th marathon was the Chicago Marathon. This would have been in, what year was it? 2021, 22, 23? I think it was 2023. The year is important for one specific reason, because of the person who was running at the front of the pack of the Chicago Marathon. If you know, you know. And this marathon, my first ever world marathon major, hope to do more, but so far the lottery gods have not smiled favorably upon me. Come on, New York. Come on, Chicago. Come on, all of them. But this marathon was the first time I was surrounded by tens of thousands of runners, which was an incredible experience right there. We could have had so much spirituality lessons just from this great cloud of witnesses, or runners. That's from Hebrews, by the way. But the thing I'm really taking away from my 5th marathon, and thing number 5 that I'm learning about spirituality from running marathons, is who are you following? Now, I say that for this marathon in particular because there's a blue line that runs along the most efficient path of any marathon, I think, right? Especially the Chicago Marathon. And if you're on that blue line, you are running the most efficient, exact, precise route. No extra distance added. And what I loved is knowing that I'm running on this blue line as much as I can, knowing that a couple hours ahead of me are the pros, the elites. I'm on the same field as them. What sport do you get to play on the same arena as the world's best athletes? I mean, you're not going to go down and play catch on the Super Bowl football field, but when you run a marathon, you are running the same exact footsteps as the fastest runners. And October 2023 in Chicago was, at that time, the fastest runner. Kelvin Kiptum ran, at the time, the world record, 2 hours and something. What was it? It was this. Yeah, it's been broken. London, the top 3 finishers in London all came under Kiptum's time. We've finally broken 2 hours. That's a whole other conversation and we're talking about. But I was about miles 17 or 18, and someone from the side of the course yelled, "Kiptum did it! He broke the world record!" He didn't go sub 2, and tragically he died later that year and never had the chance to go sub 2, but he would have. But it was this moment of running along this blue line and being told by a spectator that Kelvin Kiptum just finished the marathon having run the exact same route as me. So who are you following? In that marathon, I was following Kelvin Kiptum. I was running, I would say, right behind him. We were just separated by, quite a few miles and time. But the point is, in a marathon, in life, who are you following? I think you're following it. Are you following someone who's going to take you somewhere that you need to go, somewhere you couldn't get to by yourself? Some people say, I'm following Jesus. Well, what Jesus are you following? Because we got so many a la carte buffet, pick your Jesus in our world today. Too often we dress Jesus up with whatever outfit we want and turn him into a mascot for our own worldview and ideology. I think we can't help but do that. And when that worldview hurts others, I think we're missing what the Bible tells us about Jesus. So, is your Jesus a, red hat wearing, Second Amendment toting Jesus? No, we don't need any more white Christian nationalists in the world. Jesus definitely wasn't one of those. He wasn't white either. Or are you following someone who opens you up to new ways to love others and discover a shared humanity along the way? Are you following someone who cultivates your compassion and empathy, who gives you courage and creativity so that we can bring heaven to the hell of an earth that too many people are trapped in? Are you following me? Well, are you following what I'm saying? Yeah, you get it. Who are you following? That's thing number 5. The 6th thing I learned about spirituality from running my 6th marathon was it's okay to walk. This was the Trail Marathon. That's its official name. It's north of Detroit, near Ann Arbor. Pinckney Trails, I think is what it's called. And it just goes by the Trail Marathon. I had never run a trail marathon before. I've run trail races, some of them, lowish distances, nothing ever too epic. But this was the first time I ran a trail marathon. And it was 2 laps around the same half-mile course. And the first lap had some hills and things, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, some really big ups. And then I got to the halfway point, the starting line, and I had to do it again. And I finished the first half pretty decent. I think coming in at a 2-hour-ish pace. I was like, I'm on par to finish this in 4 hours. There we go. Sub 4 again. I did not go sub 4 for this one. The second time around, as I was kind of making my way into the forest again, some people were watching and cheered me on and said, "Hey, you're the first place marathoner," which I knew was a problem. That meant I was going way too fast in this trail marathon because all those hills that I went up and down the first lap, I had to do it again. And my legs did not want to do it again. This is where I learned in running marathons. I knew this. I've done this in marathons, but this is where I really felt it in a different way. Running marathons and in life, in spirituality, it's okay to walk. We can feel this need to constantly be running, to be pushing ourselves farther and faster in everything. I remember when I was in high school and college, having this if I'm not having 2 devotional times each day, I'm not doing enough. And there was this outdoing my own sense of piety, let alone the way people show up and out virtue signal each other and all the things in our world today. You don't have to just keep going. It's okay to walk sometimes. In fact, it's necessary to walk sometimes. Your legs and just your whole being will probably do better for it. Now, let's be honest, prior to this marathon, I've walked in lots of those other marathons too, those first ones, because there's plenty of times when my legs are just no, we need a moment of change of pace. And by change, we mean slow down. But this was a different kind of walking. This was a pushing my legs up, and running was not going to happen. And walking was the struggle at this point. And that's okay. Not every pace needs to be the same all the time. That's not sustainable. It's true for running. It's definitely true for spirituality. What is the pace you need in this season? And what's the pace you'll need in the next season? And they might be different. In fact, if they aren't ever different, then you should probably ask some questions about that. So there you go. Thing number 6, marathon number 6, it's okay to walk. In fact, you probably should. Marathon number 7 was the Detroit Marathon. Oh my goodness, this is one of the greatest marathons I've ever run. Partly because it's my fastest marathon to date. We'll see if I can beat it at some point in a few years, maybe. I don't know. But the thing I learned about spirituality that is very unique to the Detroit Marathon, I would call it this: over and under and always forward. By that I mean, in the Detroit Marathon, you go over the Ambassador Bridge, which was an incredible experience. Sunrise, thousands of runners ahead of you and behind you, at least from where I was in the 3:30 pace group. So you have this incredible just line of runners that you are a part of as the sun is rising and you're going over the Detroit River into Canada. International marathon, by the way. And then you come back into Detroit underwater. You go under this tunnel, a whole mile underwater. So there's an over, there's an under, and always forward. It's just, that's what I say. And always forward, which is the pace that you run. Whether you run, walk, whatever your pace is, forward is the only pace that counts. Now for me, like I said, this was the race where I actually hit 8-minute miles consistently and hit a 3:23 total marathon time, my fastest marathon ever. We'll see if I can beat it at some point. But the thing that I'm learning about spirituality is exactly that. There's going to be some overs. There's going to be some unders. But the whole point is that you are always moving forward. Even when you're feeling the highs of highs and the euphoria of however you describe spirituality and the lows of lows and the dark nights of the soul, always forward is the key. Now, you could also connect some past things I said. I had a great pace group for this one, so there's something to say about running with people where you're not having to manage everything, but you can rely on others to manage some of those important things like the pace you're running, and you just find the encouragement with the group. This was also a marathon where for the last 5 miles, I kind of, in my mind, dedicated a mile to a different family member, my siblings, my parents, my wife, my kids, kind of going through them all and just giving a mile where I was kind of present with that person or those people for that mile. And that definitely helps. That's a trick I do every time now. Just helps keep you motivated as to why you're running and the people who have made you who you are. But I think we need that in our spirituality because there's going to be overs, there's going to be unders. And what is it that keeps you always going forward? Maybe that's the question to ask. And that's really what the Detroit Marathon, number 7, taught me. Marathon number 8, this was the Kalamazoo Marathon in the spring of 2025. And the thing I learned both about running marathons, but also about spirituality and life, was that it's okay to make your own goals. You don't have to just assume that the always improving, always faster is the goal. We've touched on that before. But this marathon, I had a very unique goal. I realized that spring marathons are not really my time to try for a PR. I'm not in the best possible fitness and shape. Running in winters in Michigan has some frigid encounters and dark mornings that aren't that motivating to get up and run. But I still want to run a marathon in the spring. And so for the Kalamazoo Marathon, I decided to make it my goal to negative split, to run the last half faster than the first half. I decided to do this by running with a pace group that I knew I could hang with, the 3:45 pace group. I had just PR'd at 3:28 or something in Detroit. I wasn't going to try to repeat that, but I said, let me experience enjoying the last 5 miles, feeling like I have some energy left for the last 5 miles. So my goal was to run the whole thing, first 20, and then go from there and feel like I had some fuel in the tank, that I was able to actually pick up a gear and keep it moving. Maybe not my fastest miles, but at least for rate of perceived effort, RPE, compared to that sort of thing, that it would feel like I had something still to give. And I did it. It was great. It was not clearly my fastest marathon. That wasn't the goal. That wasn't possible. But I executed my plan according to what I hoped would happen. I stuck with the pace group. I kind of went ahead of the pace group. And then I really gave it what I had. And I had something left to give. Now, the point is, you can make your goal. What is the thing you need right now? What is the thing you're aiming for that's specific for you? That's specific for where you are in this moment of life and the world that we share. That's spirituality. Is it something about deepening your connection at a faith community or joining a midweek Bible study like the one I host almost every Wednesday? You can find out more right here on this website. What is it that you're called to do in this moment, this season, this marathon? Lean into that. Don't lean into someone else's goal for their moment, but lean into what you need in this one. Yeah, I like that one. Marathon number 9 was the Thumbcoast Marathon. I ran this in November of 2025, my 9th marathon. And the thing I learned from this one, both about a marathon and about life and spirituality, sometimes you do have to run it alone. This marathon did not have a pace group. I was going to try to aim for a PR, so I was hoping for a 3:30 pace group, or even a 3:25 pace group would have been perfect, but they didn't have it. They had a 3:50 pace group. That wasn't what I was looking for. So for a good amount of this marathon, I was with a few people, and then eventually it was just me. And that got hard. I did not meet my goal of getting a PR. I still had a great marathon, like 3:31 or something like that, which is amazing. But I found it difficult to run some of those miles by myself. But that's the thing. When it comes to marathons, running, life, spirituality, sometimes you have to run by yourself. You won't always have the crowd. You won't always have the pace group. You won't always have, a running buddy. Sometimes it'll just be you. That's also what's amazing about running. And that's what's amazing about spirituality is your spirituality is your journey. We can take it and share it alongside others, and we can have moments together, but there need to be moments that are just yours, because those moments teach you so much about what it means to be you, what makes you you, what makes me me. So that, number 9, sometimes you got to run by yourself. And then my 10th marathon, well, wait, let's just get to the marathon, huh? Okay, we made it. We're at the starting line for the marathon, and we're starting in 5 minutes. So I gotta get over there. Let's go.
Many hours later.
Welcome back, Jim. Great finish.
Well, there we go. We finished the marathon. We did not complete our A goal. And the spirituality tip I learned from my 10th marathon is there are no shortcuts. This race was tough for a lot of reasons. My legs are still pretty tired. It's hot out. Excuses. This was a half-mile out and back course, so the marathon did it twice. So by the time I got to the halfway point, I was like, oh my goodness, there's the finish line. I have to do it again. And to make it worse, there was this utility road you ran behind the track where it finishes. So you have like this mile where you are just on the edge of where the finish line is. And you just want to take the left turn instead of the right turn on the utility road. But there are no shortcuts. When it comes to running a marathon, when it comes to spirituality, there are no shortcuts. If you want to get better at meditating, you have to start doing it day after day after day. There is no fast track to become the Buddha. You have to find each moment building upon itself. I heard someone say the other day that in 3 days you'll feel it, in 3 weeks you'll notice it, and in 3 months it becomes a habit. There's no shortcuts. The only way to run 26 miles is to run all 26 miles. Okay, I'm tired. I'm gonna get some water. 10th marathon. See you next one.
Buddy, I hope you have a great one, and I hope you feel loved when you get one. Can I be your turn now? I love you, Daddy. Everybody say, go, Daddy, go. Go, Daddy, go.